Good evening, everybody. This is Jeff in Beijing for another Radio Sinoland program. Tonight's show is entitled Xi and Putin Give the West a Stiff Middle Finger, and it revolves around last week's 70th anniversary celebration of Russia's victory over the fascist Nazis that ended World War II. It was an amazing week. It was the first time in 70 years that no one from the West, no leader from the West was represented at the parade. But Xi was sure, Xi Jinping, China's president, was sure there. His week started out in Kazakhstan, neighboring Kazakhstan, which is a linchpin in the Eurasian Union. They signed deals, billions of dollars in deals, firmed up the Silk Road concept with China to link Kazakhstan by rail, road, gas pipelines, etc., to China and to Western Russia. She then flew on over to Moscow for the massive parade on Red Square, and I will put a photograph on my website with this show. All this was censored in the West, completely blacked out in the United States. Not so much the West, but definitely in the United States. There's a photograph of Xi Jinping sitting with his wife next to Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, and then next to them was Nursultan Nazarbayev, the president of Kazakhstan. She was everywhere in Moscow at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. He had a special meeting at the Kremlin with, I think, 18 or 19 World War II veterans from Russia, giving them medals from the Republic of China, thanking them profusely for their sacrifice. She was on the radio, gave a interview for the Russians. He wrote an article for the Russian Gazette that was published all over Russia. And of course, while he was there, he was signing billions of dollars in deals with Putin for aerospace, finance, banking, gas, satellites. The list just goes on and on. This is amazing on a number of points. No one from the West was there, ostensibly because of Ukraine, which of course the United States paid for $5 billion since 1990 to destabilize the Ukraine in order to try to destabilize Russia. And so Xi was there to fill the gap. I think it's safe to say that for the time being, until the Europeans come to their senses and develop their own independent foreign policy instead of being America's lapdog and taking orders from the White House, that the China-Russia juggernaut is only going to get stronger and stronger. Not only was she in Moscow, but the Chinese Navy sailed into the Black Sea and hung out at the with the Russians at their Black Sea fleet. And then later on, they're going to go over into the Mediterranean, the Chinese and the Russians, and practice war games together in Europe's backyard. This is all very symbolic, very meaningful, very powerful. Basically, what has happened this week is the Chinese are telling Washington, Paris, London that they are arm in arm, hip to hip with the Russians, and that by trying to destabilize Russia and impose regime change there, which of course the Americans are trying to do in China anyway, as they have been since 1949, that they now have to deal with two of the most colossal countries on the planet and not just one. They're not going to form a formal military alliance that the West so loves, because they don't work. World War I was started because of alliances that forced Britain and France to end the war because of a pledge in their alliance to defend their allies, and they're just as easily broken. The West will break an alliance in a heartbeat if it means that it will allow them to take advantage of a current situation. So they don't have a formal alliance, but they are economically, militarily, strategically, and infrastructurally becoming, like I said in an earlier program, almost like a double helix, a DNA double helix. And it's just going to get stronger and stronger. Putin will never forget that she was there. About 20 or 22 world leaders were there. Zuma from South Africa was there. To represent the BRICS countries, and so it was just amazing. And the fact that this was blacked out in the West, totally blacked out in the United States, just tells you how desperate Washington is to suppress the fact that China and Russia are basically a unified force against Washington's worldwide empire. That's about all I want to say for this program. I will put some pictures of that I just told you about. The Chinese, the PLA also marched for the first time in the Moscow parade to celebrate the end of World War II. They've only marched outside of China, I think, 6 or 7 times in their entire history. And there were, I think, about 105 or 103 Chinese soldiers. I'll put a photograph of that up also. That's it, and enjoy your evening.